My name is Shawn Schneider. I'm a mechanical engineering student graduating in 2020, and I'm a member of the honors program, and I'm from Derby, New York. The reason I chose mechanical engineering is probably different than some people, or a lot of people. I was just really good at math and science, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. So I decided to go into mechanical engineering because I felt like it was one of the most broad fields that allowed a lot of lateral movement. If I didn't like one industry, I could work my way into another one, and then eventually I figured I would find something that I liked. I decided to look at Clarkson on the recommendation of my cousin, who had just gotten his PhD from the University of Pennsylvania. And he mentioned a bunch of schools, RIT, UB, Clarkson, University of Michigan, Cornell, schools like that to look at. And on his recommendation, I came and looked at Clarkson. And what I really liked about Clarkson was that it was small and that its location was in proximity to the St. Lawrence Seaway, and to the Adirondack Mountains and stuff like that, where I could be outdoorsy but still have like a good focus on academics, and they were really well rated in academics, so that like combination of items is what helped me make my decision. I definitely want to start out in mechanical engineering and learn as much as I can while I can. I want to learn more and branch sort of out of mechanical engineering specifically into a little bit more of like a computer science side and an electrical engineering side, because really almost any product that you're going to put together involves all three of those aspects, especially if you're trying to develop new technologies and do new things. So if I can be able to do all three of them on my own, it'll help me put me in a position where I can be engineering manager and an upper leader in a company and be able to understand anything that any of the engineers that I'm talking to might be talking about. The other reason that I like that approach to learning as much as I can and diversifying is that if I come up with an idea, I can figure out most of how to put it together on my own and potentially start my own business from that. So when I started at Clarkson, especially compared to now, I didn't know how to do much and I didn't know how the world worked. And now when I go somewhere and I walk around a city or I walk into a factory, I'm so intrigued by the way things work and I see the world in a different way. And what I've learned through my education in engineering has what's created that, and I love it because anywhere that I go, anywhere I walk to, it's like, oh, that's interesting. And someone else will be like, why? And it's like, well, it's hard to explain. I think my favorite faculty member would be Dr. Suresh Janiala. He's my thesis advisor. He's been very helpful in my project. He's given me a lot of equipment, a lot of ideas, and I like that he allows me to work on like the development on my own and try and figure things out on my own. And then when I come back to him, he'll be like, you're not exactly on the right track, and he helps like re-guide me in the right way. And so he's like letting me do it on my own, but still helping me through the process because he's a lot more experienced than I am. So I like that he gives me that ability to learn on my own and not just spoon feed everything to me. I've had 3 professional experiences. Do you want me to talk about all of them?
Yeah, sure.
So my freshman year, I walked into the career fair trying to recruit sponsors for the clean snowmobile team, and I ended up talking to this company, BorgWarner More Systems. And just by talking to them and getting them interested, I ended up getting an interview, and then lo and behold, I took on a co-op position in product engineering with them beginning my sophomore year. I wanted to do a co-op early because, like I said previously in the interview, I didn't really know what mechanical engineering entailed, so doing an internship early would help verify if I was on the right career path or not. So I did the co-op at BorgWarner. I was a product engineer. I worked on product development for them. It's a slightly larger company, more established. So I was able to learn a lot from the engineers there, and like it really showed me in the beginning that engineering was the correct way for me to go, and mechanical engineering was a good field for me to fit into. So my second professional experience, I got an email from Clarkson advertising the intern group, and I thought, hey, why not? It could be something cool. So I applied, I ended up getting accepted and I ended up going. So my second professional experience was an internship with Amped Energy in Hong Kong. Basically what they do is they're creating power source using lithium-ion batteries to help stabilize the grid in countries in Southeast Asia where the grid's not as standardized as it is here, and power can be spotty and can go out. Some of their main customers are like critical need, like hospitals, police stations, stuff like that, but people also use them for storage, for energy storage, like in remote areas, solar farms, stuff like that. So for them, I was doing, that was my first experience really starting to get into using CAD software and learning CAD software, simulation. I was learning stuff about heat transfer and thermodynamics before I even took the class, so it was cool when I came back here and did get into the class. I was like, oh, that's why my simulations were showing this. And it was funny that I experimentally learned about some of the concepts in the class before I took the class. Then when I was in the class, I remembered things because of my experience with it. My third professional experience was this past summer, before my senior year, with Good Nature Products in Buffalo, New York. They make commercial juicing machines, cold press juice machines. So I was helping them with their product development. They're working on new lines of products that are getting smaller and smaller in order to make them more affordable for more average consumers, and kind of trying to make it more affordable for smaller places that aren't like specifically juice bars, such as like small restaurants and stuff like that, to be able to provide juice to their cold pressed juice to their customers. So I was working on developing automated testing for them, and that's when I really started to get into sort of the computer science and electrical engineering side of the engineering field, because I was designing the hardware to do these tests, but I was also doing the programming itself. Because it was a small company, I was able to do multiple different roles and branch out of mechanical engineering a little bit, which I really liked. I feel very academically supported at Clarkson. There's always someone to go to, and that goes beyond the professors. The professors are great. Being a small campus, they all have plenty of office hours that are open to go to, and they all have TAs that are open to go to. But the kind of people that are attracted to Clarkson University are the kind of people that are there for you, to help you. Like, your friends will always be there to help you when you're in need in a class or something. If you can't make the TA's office hours, your friends will sit down with you. And even people that you might not be that close with will offer to help you. And I've received help from numerous peers throughout my time here that have made my experience a lot better and helped me learn even more, especially if I was struggling with the concept. And I've always been one to give that back as well and to pay it forward. And beyond that, I have 2 or 3 advisors that are assigned to me that have helped me. My freshman year, I ended up in a class that I was struggling with within the first week because my credits transferred in kind of oddly. And I didn't have the prereq for the class. It was the only class that kind of worked for my schedule. And I met with one of my advisors through the honors program within the first week to do like a checkup on how things are going. And I mentioned that the class I was struggling with, and she ended up getting me transferred into a different section with Professor Eisen, who was, the section that I was in was with the TA, and it was kind of thrown together. So putting me together with the professor, and the professor sat down and helped me with the concepts that I wasn't really sure about, that I'd missed in the class that was a prerequisite. So there's definitely a lot of support at Clarkson for the students academically. The SPEED program at Clarkson University allows the students the opportunity to get hands-on learning experiences and apply the principles that you're learning in class to an actual project. So you're not going to forget them, you're not going to forget them after the exam. You're going to be able to know them, remember them, and apply them. So my SPEED team specifically is the Clarkson Diesel Snowmobile team. A few years ago when I joined the team as a freshman, we were a handful of sophomores and freshmen with not much engineering experience, not very well passed into the engineering classes, the upper level classes. And we took what we had and built the team over the last 4 years. We switched into the diesel section of the competition my sophomore year because we found that it provided more of a challenge and forced us to do more engineering work. The internal combustion gasoline part of the competition is already so well developed by the manufacturers and industry that most of the modifications that you make to them actually hurt the performance because they're already so well done. However, there's no diesel snowmobiles manufactured in industry. So every decision you make, every part you decide on, every design that you have is your own. There's no one else to copy, there's no one to mimic. And if you have a problem, you have to figure it out on your own. And that's what creates good problem solvers and good engineers. And since then, we've learned so much over the past 2 years. It was a steep learning curve at first. We ended up being able to compete in the first competition, which was a major failure for us. But as a team, we came together and persevered. Our second year, we passed our technical inspection. We were able to compete in the competition and had some failed competition that kept us out of a couple events. We didn't do as well as we wanted. Finally, moving into our third year of the Diesel Snowmobile Challenge, we did a complete redesign. We put everything into CAD. We designed everything smoothly. We designed everything to our manufacturing capabilities. And we took everything that had gone wrong in the previous 2 years and applied it to this project. And if we hadn't had those previous 2 years, the project wouldn't have come together like it did because all of the failures of the past is what we learned from. As far as the other benefits of speed, speed you don't get any credits for. You don't get class credit. You can apply some projects that you take your classes on. You can apply some of the projects that the professors assign you in class and apply them to the speed project, but really there's no credit for doing a speed team. It's all your own time and work. So it's about what you put in is what you'll get out. And so the people that put in the time and effort are the ones who really learn about engineering before they get into the field. People who join a speed team and persevere, companies really like, and a lot of companies look specifically for that speed team experience because they know that they are willing to put in the hard work that it takes to get something out the door, to make deadlines, to get the product done, to do the best job that you can do. A lot of companies look specifically for that, and that's why a lot of the guys that you'll meet on speed teams are set up with really good jobs coming out of college, and they get really good internships because the companies, again and again, have good experiences with the engineers that they hire out of the speed program, and so they want to come back and get more. Another thing about speed teams is that it is a fully involved project, meaning that there's the business side, there's the design side, there's the manufacturing side, the testing side, and there's the competition. So as the president of the Clarkson Diesel Snowmobile team, I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. I manage a lot of our sponsors. I work with our treasurer on the budget. We submit a budget proposal, and we have so much money that we get to work with. And the money really is not enough for a diesel snowmobile project, but there's not much more of it for us to get. So in order for us to stretch our budget as far as we can, we try to pull as many sponsors as possible. This past year alone, I would estimate that we've pulled about at least $10,000 worth of product and financing from outside of Clarkson University, and that's what made this project possible. We'll be going to compete in our competition soon, and we're just a hair over our budget, so we dipped a little bit into our private account for the team, which came from funding from the nice guys over at the New York State Snowmobile Association with their generous donation, but without our sponsors, the product isn't possible. It really isn't, at least not in the year that we did it. So if I had one piece of advice for someone looking to join a speed team, I would say don't be afraid to get involved and don't be intimidated by the initial awkwardness. A lot of the people on speed teams have been together for a while, sometimes 4 years, as is the case with my team. A bunch of my friends and I have been together for a long time. So we have that relationship, and it can seem intimidating at first, but if you just persevere and stick through with getting into that group and becoming involved, the benefits will pay out. You'll learn so much more. The people that you're going to learn the most from are the people who are on the team. And so if you can get in and find yourself a way to be comfortable with the team, it'll be the best thing for you, especially for developing yourself developing your engineering, your business, whatever you're looking to get out of the speed team. The best way to do it would be to not be intimidated and to just try to work with what you have. Another thing, don't be intimidated by your own lack of knowledge. When I started here, I knew almost nothing. I didn't know what a torque wrench was. I barely knew how to turn a wrench. And now I'm a lot more capable than I was when I started, and a lot of people look up to me because of what I've been able to learn in my 4 years of the project. And so if you're intimidated by what everyone else knows that you don't see it as you're pulling the team down. See it as an opportunity to learn, and don't be discouraged by not knowing as much as them.